right, everyone, welcome once again back to the channel. And today I am so thrilled because I'm here with Kirk Bondad, our Mr. International Philippines 2025. Kirk, how is it
Thank
going?
you. I'm feeling very excited. Just told you off the cam that I know from you for so long, so it's an honor to be here because it's always funny to see all my other queens or other people, pageant people, having interviews with you, and you do such a great job in just showcasing pageantry, not just in the
Thank
in
you
the
so
Philippines
much.
but internationally. I'm always watching your content.
Grabe. Thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot coming from you. And I just want to thank you as well because we were just talking about this. Your schedule right now must be hectic. Like you're traveling to Thailand in like what, 2 days?
In 2 days, it's been actually going leading up into this competition. I'm sleeping in cars and planes, on makeup chairs, like wherever I can. I feel like a hamster right now, but this is
Yeah.
just the way how it is. It feels like when they say like life is not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's like I'm
Yep.
running a marathon on a sprint pace lately. So I'm
Quite
so excited for
literally.
the pageant, but I'm also looking forward that when it's over, that I just want to watch my anime and just. I have this Dubai chocolate, right? One of my neighbors, he gave me a Dubai
Ooh.
chocolate, and I'm like, I'm not gonna touch that until I'm gonna win my Mr. International. And every single morning, I open that fridge, I look at that chocolate, and it's like, I'm gonna
That's gonna
deserve
be the
you.
reward after the pageant. That's gonna
Yeah,
be
yeah,
the,
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
celebration.
Looking
Oh my
forward for
God.
that.
You know, I've been seeing you like all over the place ever since you competed at Mr. Pilipinas Worldwide, and then
Hmm.
you won the national title for Mr. International Philippines. You've been judging, you've been preparing, you've been doing so much. But before we get into all of the behind the scenes and the preparation, for the people who have been living under a rock and don't know yet who Kirk Bondad is, how would you introduce yourself?
Oh man, that is always a difficult answer for me because it really
Mm.
depends on who you are, since I'm involved in so many things. Because I just moved here to the Philippines 3 years ago, so that was a distinct decision for me. And ever since, I
Yes.
have all types of responsibilities. Maybe you know me as your personal trainer. I do personal training. I'm a wellness coach. I'm opening with friends a recovery health wellness club, so I will be a health director. But then also I'm an athlete, so I did competitive Spartan races, I did competitive boxing. So there's a bunch of people who know me from that section, right? I do
Yes.
modeling, brand endorsing. Sometimes I walk through the city and say, "Oh, it's that bench dude, or it's that Sentry Tuna dude." I did Sentry Tuna
Yes.
Superbots. I won that, and or maybe even as the previous Mr. World, which is interesting enough. I'm still Mr. World
You're
Philippines.
still technically you're still reigning. You have two national titles simultaneously.
Dude, that's so funny. If I would win, I would have so many sashes.
Oh my
I think they're
God.
gonna, LV is planning to do, LV, the national director who holds the franchises for Mr. World. I think they're planning to do Mr. World in the Philippines here. So it would be
Yes.
funny if I would be, let's say, best case scenario, I would be becoming Mr. International and I would give off my sash or my title to the Mr. World. But
You
yeah, I do also
guys.
social media, so there's a bunch of connection points that people have and associate me, and it's actually quite interesting every time I talk with people, and they're like, "I know you," and then I'm like, "From where do you know me?"
From where?
So
Yeah, that's the thing,
yeah,
right? Oh my God. Okay, one thing I didn't know about you is that you've been here in the Philippines for only 3 years. I thought it had been longer. We technically have been here for the same amount of time. I moved here 3 years ago. So how has your experience been living in the Philippines?
well, I love it. I'm a half Filipino. I've been raised Filipino and German because I'm half Filipino and German. People always ask me like, "What do you feel
Yeah.
more connected to?" Honestly, both. Honestly, both. I feel like there's benefits in the uprising in both cultures, but I've been also living here for extensive amount of times, like 6, 8 months before that. It's just that back in 2022, the borders open
Yeah.
again, and I realized that my mental health is so much more important than
Mhm.
my work, what I was doing at the time. I was working actually in Thailand, and I realized
Mhm.
like the Philippines is just something where when I stay there, I feel happier. Like the people,
Yes.
and also building meaningful connections. Like it's imagine you meet somebody and you vibe with that person, and like for me, it was always a little bit of a disconnect knowing that I will leave in a few weeks or maybe in 2 months. Like there was
Hmm.
this cognitive dissonance of me investing into relationships. So me just deciding like, hey, I'm gonna stay here. This just sets my mind for more of like a sustainable long-term basis. So I love it. I absolutely
Yes.
love it. The Philippines is the best.
Yes, the Philippines is amazing. Everyone, if you're watching this from somewhere else, not the Philippines, please come and visit. You will not regret it.
Definitely, it's so
Okay.
underrated here in Southeast Asia.
Yes, it is. So Kirk, I just want to go back to what you were saying earlier about, people knowing you from different industries or different spheres of life. Personally, when I first became aware of you, I saw you as the Century Tuna guy, and then I saw you as
See,
the bench ambassador, and I was like, but it's true. Like, there's so many people who might see you as an athlete, as a model, as a pageant king. So I see you as like someone who has been able to succeed in many different industries. So since you're doing so well already in so many different areas, why pageantry? What was the incentive that brought you into the pageant world?
so my earliest connection with pageantry was actually with Catriona Gray, right? When I moved here, I stayed here for 1 year in the Philippines when
Hmm.
I was around 16 years old, and I stayed with my brother. And at this time, my brother was in a relationship with Catriona Gray, and I think at that time
Yes.
she was already talking, like maybe joining Miss World or something. So this was the first connection point of me realizing like what is pageantry, what is
Hmm.
it about? Like, because in Germany, quite honestly, nobody really cares about pageantry. They're like, I do pageantry. It's like, okay, what's your job? What's your degree? It's like, it's not a thing there at all.
Yeah.
So this was the very first point. And after that, I had so many other people in my circle who joined. So this was, I felt always connected in a way that people around me went into pageantry. It was only in 2022 where I got offered to represent the Philippines in Mr. Supranational. So this was,
Hmm.
and even before that, I got some offers, but I didn't take it too seriously. Quite honestly, I didn't feel passionate. But in
Yeah.
2022, it was the first time where I really considered doing it. We couldn't push through because of my work schedule in Thailand was a little bit too hectic. And when I then went back to the Philippines in 2022, I um I did the entire thing for Mr. World. While I was still competing for Century Tuna Super Bowls, which is funny, huh? And this was the first time I really digged into it and felt if I want to do this, I need to understand what is it about. Because
Hmm.
honestly, and this is my honest opinion when it comes to pageantry, especially male pageants. Listen, there are handsome fellas out there. There are tall people there, intelligent people, right? Because like in the end of the day, like what are you looking forward into a pageant king or a pageant queen? It's beauty,
Yeah.
it's character and brain, right? But I feel like there's one thing that you cannot force a person to have, and that is passion.
Hmm.
If a person actually wants to do pageantry, because you cannot fake pageantry, because quite honestly, if you win a pageant, good for you. That is probably a high climax, it's very a memorable moment in your life. But your journey starts only there, and people will remember you for the rest of your life for, having that title or having that responsibility, and you cannot fake it. So you need to be joining a pageant and competing in a pageant and being a pageant person with all your heart. And this is me just yapping because, quite honestly, I forgot the question.
You're actually on track. That's the worst part. You're actually on track with the question. Oh my
Sorry.
God. No, so what I was asking you is basically,
Yeah, how
uh,
I got into pageantry. Yeah, well, I
yes.
feel like sorry. Well, number one, like pageantry is still a competition, right? And
Yeah.
I'm a very growth oriented person. So besides me then connecting to the pageant industry and seeing, wow, like people really love it. And I got so much love also from the fan base because
Hmm.
in all honesty, it was only after I became Mr. World where I truly connected with the pageant industry, with the fan
Yeah.
base, and more importantly, when I was traveling around the Philippines for different judging events. And I realized
Hmm.
that is not very different from going to a football match in
Yeah.
Germany. And for
Yes.
anybody who is not like into pageantry, and it's like, how can you explain pageantry to them? Because it's such a foreign concept
Uh-huh.
sometimes. I always tell
Yeah.
them, like look at it as like a sport. You have your
Hmm.
teams, you have your athletes, and you have your camps and all that, and people really get passionate about it. So just me absorbing all that energy around that with pageant judging and doing interviews, working with NGOs and creatives and getting feedback. I really, really connected into it. So it's more like learning by
Mhm.
doing type of concept. And now
Yes.
more than ever, it's one of the biggest honors to represent my mother's country on a national stage,
Yeah.
international stage now. And I take
Yes,
a lot of
absolutely.
pride into it. And I realized that, especially with male pageantry, because there's always this, how you call that? Look, man, there are like some scam, there's some questionable male pageants out there, and I will be so
There
honest with
are.
that.
It's
But
a fact.
yeah, and I said to myself, why not be a person who is also partly responsible for uplifting that industry? Why not be somebody who can inspire other guys to join that because you did it,
Mhm.
you know? Because
Yeah.
I want to be remembered as a person looking back into male pageantry who contributed to a milestone in male pageantry where it's being taken more seriously. And for good Lord, it's the progression that the male pageantry did the last 5 years, absolutely immense. I'm so proud of that. And I feel like it's
Yes.
it takes a lot of little steps to make a great impact, and I want to be part of that journey.
It has evolved a lot. And I actually really understand your perspective because I also come from a country that has nothing to do with pageantry. Like Canada is so dry in terms of pageantry. So it's hard to kind of like explain it to people and make it make sense to them. Like, it's like, why are you doing that? Why are you wasting your time? But
Yeah.
now that you have been on both sides of it, right? Before, like, not really knowing much about pageantry, now being like a national representative, um, what would you say is the biggest realization that you have about pageantry? Like the biggest revelation that you had?
Ooh, I have one. Instinctively, I want to say that pageantry, a lot of people think even if you win, it's
Hmm.
gonna change your life. I feel like they put
Hmm.
so much, it's not gonna change your life.
It
It's not gonna,
doesn't.
a title will not change your life. You have to be proactive. And I always tell that to other people because even when I was joining Mr. Filipinas worldwide, a lot
Hmm.
of the guys were asking me, like tips and whatever in the industry. And I told them, pageantry, first of all, you need to be passionate about it, right?
Hmm.
Because it takes a lot to be in. We're talking about energy, time, effort, money. Like competing in a pageant is not cheap. Like you have to,
Yes.
and it's also while you're competing, you kind of have to freeze all the other things that you are doing right now, right?
Hmm.
There are a lot of lockouts. So there's a lot of downsides actually joining a pageant. And then for the fact is, there's only, I mean, sure, there are like multiple winners, but if you want to have one crown, there's a very high risk to reward ratio. And it's
Hmm.
not balanced at all. So for me, I always tell the guys and everybody who wants to maybe join a pageant, you have to be proactive, even have a plan after the pageantry, because it's not gonna be like, oh, you're a Mr. International or whatever, and then jobs will come to you. It's always what you do afterwards with it. It's how you
Yeah.
carry that title, right? Because guess what? Next year there will be another Mr. International Philippines. You
Yeah.
know,
There's always a
like
new one,
that's
right?
just the
So
reality.
you have to make
So
the
this is
most
just
out of it
something,
while you
yeah, this
have
is
it.
something I need to people understand. Like with anything really. It's also like with Central Tuna Super Bowls or Mr. World, or if you win any competition, it's a nice bonus, don't get me wrong, okay? Like I don't want to
Yeah.
undermine that, right? It's just that you as an individual, you have to be extremely proactive in this industry because it's hyper competitive. You're not the
Hmm.
only one who's working in here. So just have that in mind.
I love
I
that.
got a
I
new haircut,
actually,
by the way. This is so weird.
you look amazing. I saw your post that you were at bench getting your hair done. This is the revelation. This is a Luis Portelles channel exclusive, guys.
Thank you. Honestly, I
Oh
am
my God.
getting used to it because I had long hair for the longest of time. So it
Yeah,
takes a few days, I think. But I
it
like this
looks
right
really
now.
good. You're ready to
I will do a
compete.
screenshot. because I need to tell my stylist that. Boom, screenshot. Okay.
Yay. Okay, so I really love the self-awareness about especially like to what extent pageants can really change your life. Like it
Yeah.
can be life-changing if you know how to use the platform while you have it and how to promote yourself and venture into other things. Because as you said,
Hmm.
after 1 year, the title goes to someone else. Um,
Correct.
so let's talk a little bit about that. Because before you got to represent the Philippines at Mr. World, so you have technically competed internationally already. How was that experience for you? Just like going abroad and like representing the Philippines. How was it?
PTSD. I got PTSD afterwards.
Really?
That was such a intense experience on all ends because even leading up into that competition, I remember I was not in a good space. There were so many things in my life leading up to
Hmm.
that where it was too much, honestly. And then entering that competition, like no sleep, you're with a bunch of guys who are like competing for one title. You do endless shoots, you travel a lot. Like even in Mr. World, I think we traveled in Vietnam like three, four times. So just imagine everything with packing, doing the shoots, training, doing the competitions, preparing yourself for the individual rounds, and still doing your social media, which is already like a full-time job,
Hmm.
managing everything at once, and then adhering to the changes of the schedule. So when I came back to the Philippines, I was checking my phone nonstop, and I realized, why am I even checking right now? Because there's nothing to check on, you know. So
Yeah.
I actually experienced a little bit of like I don't know what this was, but I had to recover from that experience. Hey, by the way, I'm listening still to this conversation. I just need to top up my load because we are burning through my internet right now, but I'm still here in this
Okay, okay.
conversation, okay?
No worries, no worries.
Okay,
You take your time. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to ask you also is regarding, of course, so joining Mr. World and that experience, and after all of it, right? I guess that there's some lessons that will come out of it. Um,
correct.
and and I can only assume that now going again, competing internationally at Mr. International, you will apply some of those things that you learned from the last time. So, are there
For
any
sure.
takeaways or things that you will do differently this time around?
Yeah, I would say what helps anybody is just the pure experience that you
Mhm.
gain by competing in an international pageant, which if you go into something that could be anything, into a new job, into a new position, into a new sport, whatever it is, if you already know,
Yeah.
generally speaking, what is in front of you, that mental capacity of you worrying about it is practically
Mhm.
gone. Yes, Mr. International will be probably a little bit different in how they're gonna do the production and the sponsors and whatnot, but generally speaking, it's still gonna be a pageant, and there's a certain pageant structure. So leading in, I'm really not too worried about that anymore.
Mhm.
Also, I'm expecting, like even for Mr. World, I was expecting no sleep, right? But then you feel it and it's like, whoa, that is how
Yeah.
it feels. So
When
it's
it hits you.
something about, yeah, when it hits you and you realize, oh my gosh, like there's, it's different in theory and then in praxis, you know?
Mhm.
So leading into that, this is giving me such an ease already. And of course, in terms of my preparation and how I'm gonna, present myself on stage, it's gonna be, it's, I will be more mellow. That's what I think. I will
Yes.
be more tailored to the pageant. And I don't want to say too much because my approach is, very specific to me, but also I don't
Yeah.
know who's listening to that. Maybe my competition is watching here. And it's like I don't wanna explain my game plan. But I take a lot of experiences and I'm a different person from last year and it's
Hmm.
only gonna benefit me.
Yes, for sure. And honestly, I mean, just from like the perspective of someone who has been like covering this type of event for so long, and I also got to compete before in Supra, so
Yeah,
it's like
I know.
it just feels right for you. Like honestly, just seeing you going into Mr. International, it just feels right. I feel like it matches your personality, it matches your character, it matches your energy. So I'm pretty sure that it's gonna, well, I'm hoping that at least it's gonna be a much better experience than Mr. World back in the day, right?
Mr. World was a great experience, don't get me wrong. But I feel the
Yeah.
same what you just said. I actually, 2 days before the Mr. Filipinas Worldwide finals here in the Philippines, I did a
Uh-huh.
little bit of a risky move. Like 2 days before the finals, I posted on my Instagram that I'm aiming for the Mr. International title, right? And a lot of
Yeah.
people at that time were thinking that I would aim for the supranational title. And I
Yeah.
just, that's a beautiful thing about pageantry. Like there, y- there not just one. There's not just one pageant. I just feel more naturally inclined to Mr. International. Just I feel like it
Yes.
fits my type of personality.
I remember like a couple of maybe okay, like when did you compete at Mr. World? That was like how many months ago? Well, it's been a while
It,
since you competed, right?
less than a
And
year
I
actually. It
remember,
was November.
yeah, it was like let's say around a year. I remember some pageant fans would message me and ask me, "What do you think about Kirk? What do you think? Is he gonna go to after this? Should he go to Supra?" And I would always tell them, "Kirk is for international. Kirk is for international. It's not a Supra thing." And they will say, "What? You don't see the vision?" It's like it's not about the vision. It's about the right pageant, you know? And to me, it feels like international is the perfect match for you because of you have like this extroverted personality. You are fun to watch, you have fun on stage, you know, and there are pageants that have certain prototypes.
Yeah,
And I feel like it will be restrictive for you if you are trying to fit a certain mold and like try to cater to a specific like organization rather than going for what feels most authentic to you. So that's why I'm
correct.
saying I feel like you're going in the right direction. What do you think about this whole like prototypes things in pageants? And do you think it's a good thing, or do you think it's what's your opinion on that?
I think it's a good thing because why even bother doing or having multiple pageants if there wouldn't be a certain prototype for each individual pageant, right? I mean, again,
Yes.
it all boils down what I just said before. Like every pageant, no matter if it's male, female, uh,
Mhm.
anything in that regard. It's gonna be a mixture between beauty, brain, and character, right? But
Yeah.
each pageant in itself has a little bit more of a niche direction when it comes to, oh, it's a little bit more advocacy heavy. Some pageants are very
Mhm.
into a very specific um, type of advocacy. Like, for example, Miss Eco International, they are very much into sustainable tourism, you have even Miss Tourism,
Yes.
like, come on, that's super niche. But also, if you look at other pageant when it comes to, you just look at, like, for example, look at Mr. Supranational and then compare it to um, any other pageant, really. Like Mr. Supranational, the past winners, you see kind of a resemblance of
Mhm.
who the winners are. They have a certain prototype, a
Yeah.
certain aura to them. And I think that's great. I think the diversity creates a certain specification, which makes it
Yeah.
exciting, right?
Isn't also like for someone who's considering to join, gives them a better idea of like where you will do best potentially. Like if you're for the environment, then you know that Mr. Eco is right there. Or if you're
Yeah.
more like, you know, like the gentleman type, then you can go for Supra. So it really depends of the prototype. Okay, let's be realistic. Okay, when you look right now at predictions online and stuff like that, you are the one to beat in terms of popularity, in terms of who people think has the potential to be the next Mr. International. Do you take this as a source of inspiration, or do you get pressured by it?
I'm very effective and I see myself like a horse who's on a racetrack and has
Mhm.
his path in front of like very focused on his path in front of him. Because,
Mhm.
um, like, I mean, I'm in the industry, like, I'm like, people know me, and when you are in the public space, they have always an opinion on you. So I think for
Mhm.
me, what is sustainable, what I realized over the years is don't take the compliments, don't attach to the compliments and don't take the insults personally. Same way with like don't
Mhm.
attach yourself to the highs and don't take the lows personally because at the end of the day, people always have to say something about you, no matter if it's good, bad, ugly, amazing. The only thing that I can focus on is on what I can control. It's the things that I do on a daily basis. And don't get me wrong, if you compliment me, I don't see it as a given. Like I appreciate it, but I don't let it onto my head. The pressure type
Mhm.
of thing, I don't really feel the pressure in the sense that I get anxiety out of it
Yeah.
because in the end of the day, I am alone on that stage. And yes, I'm the the product of all my mentors, designers, and collaborators, and everything leading up to that. But at the end of the
Hmm.
day, I am on that stage representing myself,
Yeah.
and I carry myself very high, and I have a high regard to myself, and I
Yeah.
take pride in that. So
Do you think that
if you
people
ha
also hold you to like a higher standard because you're representing the Philippines? So it's not just about you, but it's also the sash that you're carrying.
I definitely see that the Philippines has, if not the best pageant community. And I think honestly, I think it's a good thing for me. But also, I do understand that if you mess up, that
Hmm.
that passion can get into, spite and criticism. I mean, we have seen it so many times. It's not the first time where somebody who represented the Philippines didn't perform the way how they, supposed to perform, and they got a
Yeah.
lot of heat for that. So you have to be
Hmm.
ready for all of that. In the end of the day, what matters is if you go to sleep and you know yourself well, did you do your best? Because that is what
Yeah.
grounds me.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you something regarding the whole like identity thing. You know, we talked about this in the beginning when you mentioned your background, being Filipino-German. And I remember when we had your send off. Sir Voltaire said something that really stayed with me because it's the first time that I hear it phrased in that way. You know, you were there with Jeter, with Kenneth, and then there was you. And Sir Voltaire was saying some people will criticize you, for example, because they will see you as not Filipino enough. But
Yeah,
then they will see someone like Kenneth, who is like purely Filipino, but didn't speak English, and they will say he's too Filipino. And
yeah.
then Jeter was like Filipino, but then he speaks English, and they're like, oh, he's also like. So how do you define the whole like identity thing? And when someone gives you like a pushback because they feel like, oh, you're not Filipino enough or you were not born here, how do you handle that, knowing that you're representing the whole country also?
Yeah, I have to give it to Voltaire. Like, this was such a beautiful message, and
I
I'm so
know.
grateful for that he gave that, because I get that. I mean, when I was posting last year something on my Instagram,
Yeah.
it got hyper viral. It had like 32 million views, and it was
Hmm.
me being on a fitting with Franz Libieren and just,
Hmm.
ramping up my pageant, Mr. World. And it got viral because in the comment section, people were just discussing about the idea, like, I don't look Filipino. How can he be Mr. World? Like, he looks not
Grabe.
Filipino. And again, I don't take it personally. Like, I'm so accustomed with people having judgment over me that after a
Hmm.
while, you don't get numb to it, right? I still feel. It's just that
Hmm.
after that, I can recalibrate myself very well into a position where what truly matters. If I feel
Hmm.
Filipino, then nobody ever can take this away from me because they didn't live my life. They don't know
Yeah.
me. I mean, they see my Instagram and they can see this and that. But at the end of the day, like what I feel, who I am, and my upbringing, you cannot take this away. So
Yeah.
I feel
It's part
very,
of your DNA.
yeah, like whatever. Like you don't see me as Filipino, then okay, you want to compete for Mr. International, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Pave the
Yeah.
way. Like I don't care, go ahead.
You try it. You try it. Let's see how you do it.
Yeah, it's like why is there not
I love
anybody else
that.
competing? I'm like, yeah, find
Yes.
them.
Uh,
I'm so game.
all right. So before we wrap up this whole thing, I just want to ask you two more questions. First, how do you prepare for the competition physically, mentally, emotionally? Because we know, I mean, physically you're ready. There's no need to like, come on, you're ready. But mentally and emotionally, that's also something that we need to consider. So, what's your routine for that?
Yeah, actually, like the physical aspect is I started lifting weights or taking care of my body when I was 16 and I never stopped. So that is always
Grabe.
something I always have to be shoot ready. I'm doing a shoot now. When I come back from Thailand, I have another shoot. There's like always like this mindset of like, why are you so motivated? I always have to keep up
Mhm.
because I have a responsibility as a brand endorser or somebody who is in fitness to look a certain way. So that is
Yes.
a given. That is not the entry point. This is just something that you have to do, period. When it comes to me, with all the other credentials, you could say like passerella training, like walking training, Q&A training, stage presence. I have my respected coaches and mentors with who I train on a weekly basis because in the end of the day, if you are on a stage, no matter what you do, it is a performance, right?
Hmm.
Take, for example, the Q&A. The Q&A, yes, you get a question, the content matters, but it's also important that you deliver it in a certain way where it's impactful. Because 30 seconds is not a long time. So you have to train that muscle. So anything that you see when it comes to what I wear, how I present myself, um, that is a process.
Yeah.
Like look at as like a school schedule where you have all the little things that you work on and try to perfect, you know. So that's that. That's my weekly schedule. When it comes to me emotionally, man, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for Mr. International. I have nothing but gratefulness. Like I'm
Hmm.
going into this competition with a full heart. I feel blessed. I have a really good feeling. I don't know, like it's not going away, you know? So I have nothing but positive energy going into this competition because I think it's a great honor to represent the Philippines in a
Yes.
national international stage, you know? Not anybody can say that. Like if I have grandchildren, I want them to be proud of myself. Like oh yeah, my
Indeed.
Lolo, he was an international pageant, you know? That's so cool. I find that like I wouldn't do this if there wouldn't be also certain vanity involved, you know? Like I just find it cool.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
mentally, kind of is the same with emotionally. Um, I'm I'm much more calmer going into this
Hmm.
competition because I know what's about to happen in a certain way. Um, but I'm
Yes.
just very lucky. I'm very looking much forward to meeting all the new people. And Thailand is also such a beautiful country, right? I lived there for 16 months, so I'm looking forward for the Thai food, for the people. They're very positive. So
That's gonna be
nothing but a
a
full
whole
heart.
experience.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And also at the end of the day, what I get from, let's say, from an outsider point of view, I can only imagine like the discipline and the consistency that you need to have to stay at the top of your game constantly, right? Because as you said, it's not just you're just preparing for Mr. International. You also have like commitments with photo shoots and you're a brand ambassador. So you always constantly need to be on top of your game. So what's your secret for being so consistent? I mean, like, because one thing is
Yeah.
like preparing for a competition and then you are free to do whatever, but you need to stay there.
Well, it comes also, it's very important for you to understand where my upbringing is, right? So
Hmm.
I came from Germany. A lot of people come to Germany for a better life. I reversed it. I went to the Philippines from the Germany
Hmm.
to have a better life. And I
Hmm.
realized that whatever I do in Germany, that is definitely an option. But if I want to do what I do here in the Philippines or
Yeah.
abroad, I have to be going all in because if I'm not all in, why even try? So there is no plan
Yes.
B for me. And don't get me wrong, like I get that question actually quite a lot. Like, how do you do it? How do you manage it? I don't know how I manage it. I have
Mhm.
that, I think that's confidence, right? You believe so much in
Yes.
yourself that you assert yourself into positions where you expect friction, but that friction
Mhm.
will enable you to grow in a way that I can positively say 2 years, maybe even 1 year ago, whatever I'm doing right now, the work capacity, what it requires me to maintain whatever I do right now wouldn't be sustainable 1 year ago because I would probably burn out, right? So there's a process
Yes.
involved in me increasing my work volume, my intensity, and it's a process. Yes, sir. Just Yilan. And I think it's also important for people to understand that, like, I say no to a lot of things. I
Hmm.
I am very sensitive to things and people who take energy away from me, and vice versa, that give energy. So you have to be self-aware enough of what these things are, and then on top of that, be disciplined enough to really cut ends or double down on certain things.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so, so much, Kirk, for your time, for sharing your insights with us, everything that you're doing for to represent the Philippines. Do you have any final message that you would like to share with the viewers? How can they support you on this journey?
First of all, this is perfect timing because I just came to my shoot location. Guys,
Perfect.
if you like what I said here, follow me on my Instagram. It's Kirk_Bondad. If you like my energy, then please support me on my international pageant. This is it's a great time to be alive. I'm always happy to inspire people. And again, for you, thank you for doing this because I think finally had an interview with you after
Finally,
all these
at
years.
last.
Thank you, sir. Ingepa.
Thank you so much, Kirk. Best of luck in your photo shoot. Best of luck in your journey towards the crown. And I know that you have what it takes to win. So, we're supporting you all the way. Go get it, boy.
Hey, I love that. Hey, thank you for your time. We stay in touch, okay? And everybody
Yes.
who's watching right now. Ingat po, mahal kita. I love you all.
Yes. Thank you, Kirk.
Okay.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.